Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Grave, the podcast where I talk to friends, family, and even strangers about their paranormal experiences. This week's episode features Deb Gowrie. You may recall the last episode of Season 1, where my brother Jeremy told a story about a house that he went to go pick some certain items up, and the unexpected scary events that ensued. That was Deb's house. And after hearing about this house, I knew that I wanted to chat with the home's owner and see what she had experienced. So this episode chronicles just some of Deb's experiences in that house and stories from the previous owner. I will note quickly that Deb had just had surgery on her leg. So first of all, she is a trooper for jumping on a call with me so soon after her surgery. But Deb's side of the call was recorded on her phone, so you may hear some fluctuations in volume, as well as a little bit of movement of her getting up and kind of moving around the house just to keep her leg from tightening up. And that will be all the housekeeping for this episode. So without further ado, I give you Deb Gowrie. Hey, Deb.
Hey, Josh.
How are you feeling, first of all? How's your leg?
Oh, thanks, Josh. It's really like it was so bad that just that having that surgery made it so much better.
Sure.
Even though it's been only a couple days, it's like already so much better.
Well, that's good. I'm glad it went well.
Thanks.
So yeah, we'll jump right into it. And obviously, I've heard tales of your house solely from my sister and my brother, Kirsten and Jeremy. So, and Jeremy actually was on this the last episode, season 1, and discussed a situation at your home that he and a buddy encountered. But so I have heard some things about it already. But before we get into your home, I just kind of briefly wanted to ask, before you moved into the house, what was your kind of perception or thoughts on the paranormal?
It was something I was unfamiliar with and a little bit afraid of. I believe in it. Let's put it that way. So therefore I had what I would call a healthy fear of it, I guess.
Okay. But it wasn't until you moved into the house that you're currently in that you those fears were kind of realized?
I think like growing up, we're always afraid of like ghosts, blah, blah, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But no, once I moved into this house, I started seeing a lot of stuff happening that wasn't happening in our old house in Saybrook. So I've come from a place of not having really very much experience with it to having, a lot of stories.
Great. Awesome. That's exactly what I need. So I need your stories. So right before I know you're in an older home. Can you kind of give me just a brief history of the house?
Yeah, so it's an 1813 federal style home. It has all the original parts to the home. We added on like about 2 years after we moved in. We added on, bumped out the family room and added on the porch. But it's a historic home. It's considered a historic home in Old Saybrook. So there is actually information at the Historical Society on the house. The information I got on the house prior to us moving in was from the prior owner. So I had some stories from her. And then when we moved in, I had, some more stories. And then when it got quiet in the house, the stories changed a little bit. So it's interesting.
Really? All right. Well, let's just let's dive right in then. If you could maybe, as best you can, maybe kind of start from like your earliest remembrances of things that happened and then kind of work your way through.
Sure. Okay. So Scott, my youngest.
Yep.
He's like always been super afraid of things like that, ghosts and paranormal. And he said since day one, like even he's a little boy when we moved in, since day one, he like thinks there's ghosts in the attic. He never slept in his bed, not one night.
Really?
Really.
So was he experiencing things or was it just like a feeling?
It was just a feeling. It was a feeling that he was having.
Okay.
And he had also heard stories from the previous owner. And I was like, I'm going to kill you. When she was telling my kids these like ghost stories that are real. And I'm looking at her like, pull the switch, stop,
Yeah.
like really, we can't, we don't want to do this right now.
Isn't necessary. Yeah.
So, but Scott was particularly like uncomfortable and to the point where he didn't want to be in the house alone at all. The first thing that I noticed in the house, the history of the house, 1813, Federal. It was a captain. It was it's a Hart house.
Oh, okay.
We kept
A
it.
ship's captain?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Samuel Hart house.
Okay.
And yep, he was a ship's captain, and one of a few who lived, in Saybrook. This is where his family lived. And this house was built in 1813, and we're only the fifth family to be in it.
Oh, okay. So not a lot of transient activity.
Yeah, right,
okay.
right. So I heard a lot of stories from the previous owner, but what I've seen, particularly just myself, we started noticing like handprints on the top of your door jamb, like where your doorways are in your house.
Yeah.
Yeah. We started noticing like fingers were being dragged along there.
Really, like streaky fingerprints?
Yes.
Wow.
And the beams are up so high. It's not like one of the kids could have pulled the chair over and did that, there's no way.
Yeah.
And it was my mom and I and my girlfriend, and we're like, geez. And we'd wipe it down every day, and the next day it would be back.
Huh. What was it? I mean, do you have a chance to, like, was it like chalky or like
it was
ash?
More like it was more like an ash. It was more like an ash.
Interesting. And
I'd
they would just keep appearing.
Yeah. And we'd wipe it down, be totally white and normal, and the next morning they're back.
Okay. Do you have any plausible, I mean, not plausible as in like your kids did it, but like, is there a story from the house, maybe like a child or a very tall man or something?
There's a lot of stories from the house. So one of the stories that I heard from the original owner, who 100% was straight up with me, I believe, was that there was a 5-year-old girl who died in this house.
Oh.
Rheumatoid fever, something like that.
Yeah.
And that she and her family came down one morning on Christmas, and sitting by their tree was a little girl opening their presents.
No way.
I swear to God, all 4 of her kids are grown. Unfortunately, like, she passed, but all 4 of her kids were grown. They all saw it. They all saw it. All 4 kids.
Like physically opening the presents?
Physically opening the presents.
Wow. Did she say if she was like full body? Like, was she like transparent or?
So what I remember Roberta saying was like, she felt like she was looking at a faint image, like a light gray on paper, something like that.
Okay.
Like when I like some of the stuff that I've seen is I say like if you were looking through your screen in your window, that kind of a look.
Gotcha. Okay. That's pretty wild.
So yeah. That I was like, thanks, lady. Yeah. My kids are never gonna want to sleep again, and that was true for Scott.
Right.
So they did have a lot of stories. That was one of them, and that was one of the most severe ones.
Sure.
I think traumatized the whole family, really, because I remember her saying, we were all looking around at each other like, did we really just see this? Like, did we really just see this?
Right. I mean, I guess in that vein, have you had any experiences with that little girl?
I have not had any, what I would say, experiences with that little girl, but I know she's here. I can feel it sometimes. I have seen some of her family members. Let's
dive right in.
I was really afraid of the paranormal. And then I got into this house and it was like, well, you better get used to it, buddy. Like, Dad, you better get used to this because I think you're dealing with this. For example, okay, so one thing that happened, my mom and I, the kids were at school, right?
Yep.
My mom and I were just sitting in the house, like waiting, to go pick them up. And Casey had this drum set upstairs. All of a sudden, someone started playing the drums.
And it's just you and your mom in the house.
That's right. Just me and my mom. And my mom is still here. And she will tell you, she has never run out of a house so fast in her life. So we went upstairs, and literally what we saw were drumsticks.
Moving? Wow.
And no screen, no picture, not even like there was a person there at all. I know a lot of people probably say it sounds crazy when they're talking about this stuff, because, it kind of is, you're like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
It kind of is crazy.
Yeah.
So my mom would not be alone in my house for like the next year.
I get it. It makes sense.
So between all the fingerprints were wiping down all the time, the playing of the drums. There was one night when Carter, and I were still together, our family was still together, where I looked up at the end of my bed, and I was awake. I hadn't been sleeping. I was awake, but I looked and I saw a tall man with a tall hat. And I would say it looked like a screen. He looked like his whole silhouette was cut out in a screen. It could be like if I'm looking at you right now, if I put like a gray filter over you.
Yeah. I mean, were there any discernible features, or was it more just like a gray mass?
No, I felt like I feel like there was form to that figure. Like, because when you see something like that, you don't unsee it. Like, it's ingrained in my mind.
Was it like a face, or was it more just kind of like a blur?
A
Like
silhouette.
Okay.
So I couldn't see eyes or anything like that. It was a silhouette of a tall man with a tall hat, and he just was at the ends of my bed looking at me, and I was like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Really? Like, what's up?" And yeah, just stayed there.
When he was at the foot of your bed, did he kind of just like disappear eventually, or was it like he walked out of the room, or how did that resolve?
It was like I was almost like we were just staring at each other. It was like a stare down contest. Even I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see eyes or ears or his mouth. The feeling I had was that it was kind of like, okay, I'm going to hang out here for a little while. And he did. And
did you just like go to sleep with him there?
no, yeah, no, I didn't. I got up and everything, and I was wide awake after that. But it's happened to me more now that I'm in the house alone.
Oh, interesting. Well, I guess that kind of makes sense, maybe from a male ghost perspective. But like, so he was at the foot of the bed. He was just hanging out, and then he was gone in like an instant type of thing.
Not in an instant. It wasn't an instant. It was minutes. It was minutes, which I know sounds like an instant, but it's not.
Right. Oh,
when
sure.
you're
Yeah.
in that situation, it's like, yeah, no, really. I mean, it's actually amazing. The same exact man that I saw that many years ago at the foot of my bed came back to me. And I'm telling you, when I say the exact same, I mean the exact same. Came back to me. I was alone in the house, and I was like lying on a couch watching a movie, and at the foot of the couch, he's standing there. The same exact visual, the same look. It was like I was looking at somebody cut out a silhouette out of a screen window. And it was like we just were doing this, like, I felt like we were doing like a stare down type thing. So I felt like a little bit of a challenge. And yeah, I did. I felt like, all right,
challenge accepted.
Yeah, I've had a lot of like really weird stuff happen to me since I've moved in this house, like things that are just crazy. Like I'll get a message, and like I'll have to go, and I'll end up saving somebody's life. This has happened like so many times. It's ridiculous.
Like a text message from someone, or like just a mental, like you need to
a mental like just for example, I'm at my friend's house in Brantford. Anyway, so I'm friends with him and his wife and his kids, and all of a sudden it was like 3 p.m. All of a sudden I was like, holy shit, I gotta get up and like get to Sabre Point. Get it. I had this immediately. I was like, oh my God, Adam, I gotta go. And I'm in my car on the highway driving like 80 miles an hour to get to Sabre Point. And I called my then boyfriend and said, I need you to meet me at Sabre Point. I don't know why. Like, I don't know why I'm going there, but I have to go. It was totally it made no sense. Like, no sense at all. You would have thought, oh yeah, she's on. It just didn't, it doesn't make it. It doesn't really. If I heard somebody else say it, I'd be like, yeah. But it was so real. And when I got there, and I never sit at the bar. I never sit at a bar either. I'm not a person who goes and sits at a bar. But I did. I sat down at a bar, and within 2 minutes, this old gentleman walks in. Probably maybe he's not so old now that we're getting older. Probably about 70. And he starts talking to me, and he starts telling me his wife had passed away and blah, blah, blah. And in this 1 hour long conversation I have with this total stranger, he tells me that he came down to Sabre Point because he and his wife had a really special night there, and that he was going to end his life there.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know. I know. And I right away was like, man, this is like very serious. And I knew right away why I had to be there and whatever. We finished our conversation. As soon as I could, I got up and I went and I told the management there,
Yep.
the owners. I said, I followed the guy to the elevator. He got on the elevator. He says he's killing himself tonight. I'm giving you this information. Do with it what you will. So they called the police and the cops showed up, and he had a gun ready to go in his room. And I've also had other things happen where, like, I saw on Rogers Lake, there was a swimmer that was probably, I don't know, 1,000 feet away from this boat. And I just had this really bad feeling. I felt like the boat was going to hit the swimmer, even though the boat was nowhere near the swimmer. I just got this glimpse of it. And I was like, oh my God, the boat's coming around. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. And all of a sudden, you just hear this thud. And I was watching that point in the water where I knew they were going to collide. Mm-hmm. And I saw exactly where he went down. And there was about 5 of us in the water. And the water at Rogers Lake is so murky that you couldn't. So anyway, the guy got hit by the boat. He was down on the bottom of the lake.
Yeah.
And I was like, we have to start just doing, like, we can't see. We have to start making circles as big as we can with our legs and our arms and try and feel this guy. And we end up finding him. Like, he had been underwater for 3 minutes and plus, and we ended up pulling him up by his leg. His arm was hanging by a tendon, and there was blood everywhere. And we had to do CPR, and he's lucky. He's actually lucky. He's alive. He's disabled. He was a math teacher, and he can't even do that now.
Well, I mean, and and this all happened right at, or while you've been living in this home. These premonitions, if you will, they're
yeah,
interesting. Yeah. So you feel like there might be some sort of kind of supernatural link between these little messages and things happening out in the real world?
I think that there's a lot of stuff that goes on out in the world that people just don't know anything about or have experience with. The whole paranormal thing and stuff like that. I mean, since I've been in this house, I've had so many things like that happen. I could tell you more stories like that, but they go on. I used to be very afraid of the paranormal, and now I'm not anymore at all. I'm at the point now where I feel like they are protectors. I think if someone had said, okay, do you want to have ghosts in your house? Of course you don't, but no, yeah, there's definitely been, over a period of time that we've been in this house, there's definitely been a bonding that's happened.
Huh, that's very interesting. So it's like you've accepted the situation, and you're kind of living amicably together.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's exactly. It's a mutual understanding, and I think it's a mutual respect. I know that there's more than one or two. The one that I have dealt with the most is the one I've been talking about.
The shadow, the man with the hat.
Yeah, at the end of my bed, at the end of the couch. Even just like looking at him saying, like, can you go grab me like a Dogfish Head 90-minute IPA, please? Like, so we have like a little bit of, yeah, I know. I'm trying to train that. Yeah. I need to do that one. Let's put it this way. I've been here this long, right? And I'm okay. That's what's good about this house. And I was going to actually, when my leg gets better, I was going to go to the Historical Society and pull the paperwork on it for you, because there's a history here. This house used to be part of the Underground Railroad.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of history there.
So that's a lot of history for you. So what they did was they would hide the slaves. And if you come to a tour of my house, like maybe next time, if you and your wife and your daughter are, around visiting your dad or whatever,
yep.
You could come and I'll show you. there's a slip down. There's a like hidden cabinet that slides open that they would drop down to the basement and
Wow.
from the dining room where they actually cooked.
Gotcha. Okay, so quick escape route.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Scott has seen stuff. And, I'll tell you, out of all 5 of my kids, Scott is the most tuned in one.
Well, he knew it as soon as you guys moved in, apparently. So
Yeah. So, yes, he got tuned in very quickly.
yeah.
And as a mom, you're like, you're not going to say to your little boy, oh, yeah, there's ghosts here. Oh, no, those are just stories,
Right.
But Scott knew. He felt exactly what I felt.
Well, I mean, I do have intentions of getting him on this podcast as well. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Scott said, oh, yeah, I've been wanting to get together and do that with him too,
So those are some of Deb's stories. I think we can all agree that there are certainly some very strange things happening inside her home. And it was cut from this discussion, but we had discussed me potentially spending a night at the home and seeing or possibly experiencing some of this stuff for myself. So if that ever comes to fruition, I will be sure to report back on my findings. And as you heard towards the end of this episode, her son Scott is a good friend of my sister's, and I do hope to have him on the show at some point to discuss his experiences as well. So hopefully something to look forward to in upcoming episodes. I will also take a moment to let you guys know that we have hit the midway point of Season 2, and we'll be taking a couple weeks off just to reorganize and get these final episodes in a good place for you guys to listen to them. And then ideally, we will pick up on Monday, December 19th. All right, so thanks for listening, guys. And as always, I hope to have you all back for some more scary stories.